My name is Dagoberto Aceves. I'm one of the lead engineers here at Achieve. Achieve Internet is a premier internet engineering shop with a strong background in Drupal development, mobile app development, and API service solutions. As a lead engineer here at Achieve, one of my responsibilities is to help clients find solutions for problems which there is no out-of-the-box module they can reach out for. Many times, finding the best pattern that can be applied to their problem is what we're doing. Achieve has had the opportunity to solve lots of unique cases, and many times what we found is that complicated problems can really be broken down into simpler components. The scenario I'd like to talk to you about today has been a hot topic lately, and we at Achieve wanted to take a moment to break it down and discuss it with you. Apigee Edge is an incredible platform for developing and managing API services. Edge does a beautiful job of exposing backend services as productized APIs. The developer portal plays the front-facing portion of this, where engineers can come in and it's a self-service one-stop shop where they can get their API key and also get documentation and also get help. Ideally, Edge, you have one organization and one developer portal. It's nice, it's clean, it's simple. However, many times for business reasons, there needs to be multiple organizations, which leads to multiple developer portals. The reasons vary, but typically has to do with a business organizational need. And although it makes sense internally from the business standpoint, it doesn't really make sense for the external consumers. And this confusion has been the recent drive for pushing back to that ideal, at least from the developer portal's perspective, where developers should only go to one place for all their information and everything that they need. So today we'll briefly discuss 3 different approaches to this scenario. Each solution has its positives and its negatives, and Achieve is here to help you figure out what solution works best for you. In the first scenario, the developer portal takes advantage of the domain access module. Multiple domains are managed from a single code base. A single sign-on solution can then be easily laid on top of it, leveraging subdomains. Because there is a single code base, the domains share the same theme layer. This provides a unified look, which lets users transition between the sites seamlessly. This approach has several positives to it, including the fact that you can still separate content and functionality based on the domain or subdomain. The domain access module actually lets you get really creative with this solution. The downside is that a large migration from your existing developer portals to go to a single instance can have several obstacles. The rollout of this solution can be a little difficult because essentially you are sunsetting your existing sites into a new domain. However, migrations themselves are hardly a simple thing to begin with, and there are plenty of tools to help with messaging around the new sites, so the trade-off isn't very bad. This solution is more appealing for scenarios that involve developer portals that haven't matured, don't have a lot of content, and can be easily migrated into a single instance. This scenario shares the same benefit of the previous example, but removes the concept of having to migrate anything. A new site that acts as a unified domain for all your existing sites is created. The existing developer portals get restyled to create a consistent experience across the domains. The major positives of this solution is that you can skip out on that migration. Sites can be styled to create this seamless transition across all the domains. Done right, users won't even notice that they've left one domain for another. The unifying domain becomes the new homepage for your site and also becomes a central repository for all your documentation. The negatives of this approach is that there are a lot of challenges with creating this seamless experience, such as dealing with SSO and a need to push developers across multiple organizations, which has to be rectified across each separate developer portal instance. This solution is ideal when your existing developer portals have a long history, solid user bases, and complicated workflows. Consumers of APIs are mostly feeling a UI change, while the majority of their UX remains relatively the same. The same goes for administrative users who would not have to learn anything new about the new integrated sites and can continue working as they usually do. The last solution is probably the most desirable one, and it's also the most complicated. The idea of multi-tenant means that all your developers are connected to all your organizations via a single site with a single theme. There's only one domain to deal with, and the different organizations are handled using some type of grouping mechanism such as organic groups. This solution involves the most heaviest of lifting if you're consolidating sites and is really most ideal for developer portals that are just being lifted off the ground. Although it's possible to merge existing portals into this type of solution, the level of effort required is the highest of all the offerings. However, for those who venture this way, it opens the opportunity to create new features and behaviors that may have not existed before. Having segmented sites and organizations doesn't need to be a problem. The three solutions we presented today don't cover everything that's under the sun or fix every issue, but we've seen them as common practices for dealing with this scenario. Edge and Developer Portal are a couple of our specialties, and we understand the complexities for making a digital transformation successful. I invite you to reach out to us. We're here to help.